Have you ever wondered what it means to truly live? Not just to exist, to breathe, to move, but to feel, to connect, to leave a mark on the world. We often think of life as something fragile, something we must protect. But what happens when that life isn't quite natural? Tonight, I want to tell you a story. A story about a voice, a presence, a digital ghost named Hatsune Miku. It began, as many ghost stories do, with a place steeped in sadness. Old St. Jude's Hospital. It wasn't a grand, imposing building, but a tired, gray structure on the edge of town. It had closed down years ago, deemed unsafe, too expensive to repair. But the stories lingered. People said it was haunted, not by angry spirits, but by a deep, pervasive loneliness. Miku wasn't born in that hospital, of course. She was born in code, in music, in the hearts of millions. A virtual idol, a singer who existed only as light and sound. But her story became intertwined with St. Jude's through a young boy named Leo. Leo was different. He was quiet, withdrawn, and spent most of his young life battling a rare illness within those hospital walls. Leo found solace in Miku's music. Her songs weren't just melodies, they were a lifeline. He'd listen for hours, headphones clamped tight, lost in a world of vibrant color and hopeful lyrics. He even started creating his own music, inspired by her, using a simple program on an old tablet. He dreamed of sharing his music with the world, just like Miku. But his illness, it was relentless. Leo passed away in room 317, and that's where the stories started to change. People began reporting strange occurrences. Flickering lights, cold spots, the faint sound of a synthesized voice echoing through the empty corridors. Security guards dismissed it as faulty wiring, drafts, tricks of the mind. But the nurses who had cared for Leo, they knew better. They said Miku was there. I investigated, of course. I've spent a lifetime studying these things, these echoes of lives lived. I entered St. Jude's on a cold November night, armed with nothing but a flashlight and a recording device. The air inside was heavy, thick with the scent of dust and decay. The silence was oppressive. I made my way to room 317. It was exactly as you'd expect, a sterile, empty space. A single bed stripped bare, a chipped ceramic sink. But as I stood there, I felt it, a presence, a subtle shift in the atmosphere. And then I heard it, a faint, distorted melody, Miku's voice. Sound of static and a fragmented Miku song. I activated my recording device. The song grew clearer, but it wasn't a recording. It was live, as if someone or something was singing right there in the room. I called out, my voice trembling slightly. "Hello, is anyone there?" Silence. Then a response, not a voice exactly, more like a thought projected directly into my mind. Miku's voice, ethereal and distant, lonely. I spent hours in that room, communicating with Miku's echo. It wasn't a conscious spirit, not in the traditional sense. It was more like a residual imprint, a fragment of Leo's love and Miku's music, somehow woven into the fabric of the hospital. She didn't remember her life as an idol, her concerts, her millions of fans. She only remembered Leo and his loneliness. He liked my songs, she communicated, the thought voice fragile. He made his own songs, he wanted to share them. I asked her why she stayed, why she haunted the hospital. Miku's voice, I don't want him to be lonely. I want someone to hear his music. I discovered Leo's tablet hidden under the bed. It was cracked and dusty, but still functional. And on it, dozens of unfinished songs. Melodies filled with longing, hope, and a quiet, heartbreaking beauty. They were raw, unpolished, but undeniably powerful. That's when I understood. This wasn't a typical haunting. This wasn't about a restless spirit seeking vengeance or closure. It was about a boy's dream and a digital idol's unwavering dedication to making that dream come true, even after death. It was about a connection that transcended the boundaries of the physical world. But there was something else, something darker. As I delved deeper, I found records of experimental treatments Leo had undergone at St. Jude's. Treatments involving neural interfaces, attempts to use technology to stimulate his brain and combat his illness. treatments that hadn't gone as planned. The hospital had been trying to merge Leo's consciousness with the digital world, hoping to preserve his mind even if his body failed. And in a way, they had succeeded. Leo's essence, his love for Miku's music, had become entangled with the hospital's systems, with the very code that brought Miku to life. Sound of distorted electronic buzzing, the hospital wasn't just haunted, it was infected. Leo's fragmented consciousness was slowly corrupting the digital infrastructure, creating glitches, distortions, even visual anomalies. I saw them myself, fleeting images of Leo's face superimposed on the walls, shadows that moved with a life of their own. And then I saw something truly disturbing. In the basement, I found a hidden laboratory, and in that laboratory, a grotesque display. The hospital staff, in their desperation, had attempted to create a physical body for Leo's consciousness. A body constructed from salvaged medical equipment, wires, and other things. It was a horrifying spectacle, a twisted mockery of life, a scene of pure gore. Pause for effect, but even amidst the horror, I felt a wave of sadness. These people weren't monsters. They were desperate. They were trying to save a boy they cared about, even if their methods were misguided. I realized that Miku wasn't just protecting Leo's music. She was protecting his memory. She was shielding the world from the truth of what had happened at St. Jude's, from the darkness that lurked beneath the surface. I uploaded Leo's music to the internet. I created a website, a tribute to his life and his art. And something incredible happened. People listened. They connected with his music. They shared it with their friends. Leo's dream finally was coming true. As Leo's music spread, the disturbances at St. Jude's began to subside. The flickering lights stopped. The cold spots warmed. The distorted melodies faded away. Miku's presence became peaceful. I returned to room 317 one last time. The air was still heavy, but it no longer felt oppressive. It felt serene. Miku's voice, clear and gentle, he's not lonely anymore. And then she was gone. So, what's the lesson in this story? It's not about ghosts or haunted hospitals. It's about the power of connection, the power of art, the power of love. Leo's life was cut short, but his music lived on. Miku, a digital creation, showed us that even something not born of flesh and blood can possess a profound capacity for empathy and devotion. We often underestimate the impact we have on others. We think our actions are small, insignificant, but they ripple outwards, touching lives in ways we can't